Guys, well, pretty day. Look at the trees over there. See if I can zoom in on that. There we go. Yeah, welcome to Oklahoma. It's windy. It's always windy, seems like. Let me start out today. A little gripe session, I guess. Try to keep this to a minimum, but look at what we got here. It's 78 outside, 75 in here. I got the doors open. I'm trying to reduce all that humidity we talked about. It's 51 degrees or 51 humidity outside, 63 in here. When I came in this morning, again, it was still 75% humidity till I opened the doors. I got this door back there open, and then I got the front door here open. Had this piece of plastic right there, had that laying on the floor over here because from where I was doing the OSPO stuff, and it was laying right here in the floor. Well, I came back in and I needed to move it, and it still had the acid stuff in it, so I was being real careful to pick it up. As soon as I picked it up, right here the floor was soaked, like literally, I mean a puddle of water. Well, I went ahead to open this door, and this door has rubber right here, this black rubber crap. So, and you can still see the line across there, maybe. It was soaked, literally soaked. So, obviously I got a problem with my concrete wicking moisture up through it. And we kind of talked about this before. So here's my gripe, here's my rant. I'm gonna set the camera up here. Get to my face. So, two things I didn't do on this shop myself: the drywall and the concrete. Two things on this shop that are less than quality, I should say, are the concrete and, you know, as good as the walls look. There's still some problems with it. You know, all the issues I had. The guys didn't want to do what I wanted them to do, the whole deal. It really sucks. I know there's good quality people out there that do good quality work, but it really sucks that, like I said, the two things on this shop that, I wired it, everything, literally everything in this shop, me and another guy did ourselves. It took forever. It took us 3 or 4 years to build this shop. But now I come in here and have this 75% humidity, water bleeding up through the floors all over the place. This is post-tension cabled. I've got 10 grand in just the foundation alone, probably, to have these guys come out and pretty much half-ass it. I know concrete cracks. They say one guarantee you're always going to have is concrete cracks. Look at this crack. This crack right here, and you can see the moisture that come out of there too. All the way across the shop, all the way out. This slab is cracked completely in half. Now this was poured in 2011. I just talked to the guy on the phone that from the concrete company, and I told him, I said, the guy told me instead of putting plastic down under this, he said, man, there's something called RHEO. It's RHEO. It's an admixture that we put into the concrete, and it's basically waterproof. It's good or better than plastic, putting a piece of plastic underneath the foundation. I don't know shit about concrete. I'm not a concrete guru. That's why I hired someone else to do it. So now, 4 or 5 years later, I've got water coming all up through my concrete. It's just really frustrating. And now I'm trying to fix it. Now I'm like, okay, so what do I do? Well, I talked to a guy today. I said, man, what can I do to fix this? Because, I don't want it 75 degrees or 75% humidity in here every time it rains. He said, there's nothing you can do. He said, other than busting the concrete up and starting over. I'm like, no, surely there's something, some kind of sealer or something like that. And he's like, well, there's so much hydraulic pressure on the water pushing up through those pores that if you put a sealer on there, it's ultimately just going to start pushing that sealer out and screwing the sealer up, and you'll keep having to reseal it all the time. He said, yeah, initially it'll cut down on that, but he said you're just gonna have a lot of problems with it. I've looked up several products that supposedly will penetrate all the way down through the concrete in the pores and seal it up and all that, but then I've read reviews and people are like, don't buy this, it's bull crap, it doesn't work. Lots and lots of work. You know, one guy said he completely stripped his whole floor with a diamond cutter, vacuumed all the dust out, had dust everywhere, all over everything. Took him days and days to clean everything out, and then put the stuff on and did all this stuff, and it still didn't really work. So yeah, I don't want to do that either. So will it cause me a problem? I don't know. I looked up some stuff on the internet. Like I said, I do mostly body work, fabrication, metal work. I'm not a professional painter. I can paint. I mean, hell, my kids can paint, but you know what I mean. But I don't know about all the humidity and all that kind of stuff. Well, I guess most of the products are rated for 55% relative humidity. From what I understand, it doesn't. The humidity, the temperature affects your paint more than anything. The humidity's not near as much from what I've read, and I've only read like 3 or 4 different sites. But most guys say humidity's not really that big of an issue. So, thinking about just, you know, leaving it be, unless I can find a product that's 100% for sure works. You know what I mean? But the guy from this concrete company said, man, I've never heard of the stuff not working like it's supposed to. I pulled out my receipts. It said this stuff's supposed to be added. Now I'm questioning, did they remember to add it? Maybe they forgot. I don't know. So he's gonna look into it and see. Do I think they're gonna do anything? No. I'm an individual. I'm not a big company. I'm not a corporation. You know, that type of deal. So more than likely they're just gonna say, well, sorry, there's not much we can do about it. So also, I had some standing water. I think this is adding to my problem. You remember I did this number here to drain all the water that was standing there. Well, I think that water probably is seeping underneath because the way that the yard goes is kind of goes downhill this direction and keeps going downhill that way. So I think that water's just running off here and coming underneath the concrete. Well, then the concrete's obviously like a sponge, and so then, you know, it's basically evaporating up through the concrete or pulling up through the concrete. So my thought is maybe a French drain. Maybe I can go ahead and dig all this out all the way around, put in a French drain, so where the water will come in and then go around the slab. Maybe that'll help. Like I said, I think some guttering up there would help some. Maybe come off the back some. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I guess what they say, you live and you learn. And so what sucks is when you have a building that you put thousands and thousands of dollars in and you try to do it completely right. And like I said, I tried to do my homework on everything, the concrete. I thought, well, these guys are professionals. They know what they're doing. The guy, he said, man, I've been doing it for 40 years. Now here's another part of it's just little stuff like this that pisses me off. This got post-tension cables all the way through it. Well, this approach here, where you come into the shop, they poured it all at once. Okay, they call it a monolithic pour, something like that. Anyway, the approach here, the slab, and then the approach going off the back or whatever I don't know what you call it, but whatever, same thing, it's approach. It's all tied together with cables, and it's all stretched in, you know, like 10 or 25,000 psi, something like that. Okay, so the company that stretches the cables, and here's one of the cables here, and they come out and they stretch these cables out. Well, the concrete guys come out and they lay all this concrete, get it all smoothed out, pretty, the whole deal. Well, right here, see that? That's a patch. Like the cable company comes over and they stretch this one, and it busts this whole part of that concrete out. So they called me and they said, hey, your concrete guy didn't pour that thick enough. And so I called a concrete guy. I said, hey man, big chunk busted it out. And they said, you didn't pour it. He said, that's bullcrap. They overstressed it. They overstretched it. I'm like, okay, so call them back. And they're like, no, they didn't pour it deep enough. Da 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 da. So the concrete guy says, well, I want to make it right. What I'm going to do is we'll just cut the cable off here and we'll put in a patch. I'm like, okay, so that'll fix it? Because I don't know. The guy's like, yeah, it'll fix it. It'll be perfect. Yeah, it'll be perfect. This is perfect. The whole edge is chipped off. And look at this. Look at that crack all the way up there. Okay, so I've got cables and the crack stops here because I've got cables here and up here and running through the other way. So all I've got is that big crack right there. And then this big ass patch that looks like crap. So I talked to somebody, I said, how can I fix that? Because it's been years since that's happened. Man, you're gonna have to have the cable company come out, release their cables, bust all that concrete up from the approach, re-pour it, and then re-stretch the cables. All because they half-assed this job, didn't do it right, so now I have to live with this. Because they were like, well, it's normally the contractors, it comes back on the contractor. Well, I was the freaking contractor. So, come back on me. Well, how can it come back on me? I didn't pour the concrete. I didn't stretch the cables. I didn't do any of that crap. I guess this is where lawsuits come in. But, yeah, I just, you know, that's my rant for the morning. A little frustrated. The old saying, if you want something done right, do it yourself. 100% agree. And I know you guys are running the same crap. I mean, I know it goes on everywhere because, like I said, I talked to a contractor just this morning, and he was like, man, you wouldn't believe some of the crap. He said, we poured floors in million-dollar houses, multi-million-dollar houses, and the cables. He said one of our crews came in. They were going to put some relief cuts in it or something like that. Well, the cables floated all the way up to the top. When they cut one of the post-tension cables, and it snapped and shot up in the air and busted concrete all over the place. He said, and then everybody starts pointing fingers at everybody else. And he said, that's the way it works. I'm like, do it right the first time, you don't have that problem. Unbelievable. So yeah, I'm sure there's a big lawsuit going on over that, you know, the deal. But if you can afford a multi-million-dollar house, you can afford a lawyer and all that. Anyway, that's enough about that. Sorry, that's just irritating. Back on this, I think today I'm going to go ahead and pull that off, replace it. I've got this pieced in here and get it all fixed up nice and right, and get everything kind of set where it needs to be, and maybe see about doing some priming today. Like I said, from what I read, the humidity doesn't play that big a factor. We'll see. Like I said, right now, humidity's come down quite a bit. You know, it's 58 humidity now, so with the doors open a little bit, it's kind of drying everything out, so I think it'll be fine. But, all right, well, I'll bring you guys back when I get a little bit more going on. So, thanks for listening to the rant. See ya.